Hey, what's up guys, Josh Boosters here and welcome back to another One Piece video. Today, a long form version of a video I did earlier where I played some Red Green Smoker, but after that video I absolutely fell in love with the deck, brought it to 2 regionals. My friend Rafael Neven topped both of them actually with my Smoker deck, or our Smoker deck. Again, big congrats to him. I really think this deck's absolutely phenomenal, and why? Because it is like the Luffy Slayer. In fact, I made a guide for it as well, which is like paid content, but like if you're interested in it or want to support the channel, you can check it out in the description below, where I kind of go like into the deck list like more specifically, kind of go like turn by turn, how you could, like how certain matchups tend to play out, if you curve out well. Go over some tech cards as well. I will be updating the guide later as well, but I wanted to drop it like in time for anybody who wants to play it for to lose, and also bring out this video as well, because it's like kind of complimentary, I guess, where you can see me actually play out like the games against some of the meta decks. In this case, it's just going to be like all the Luffys, but I do plan to do like a part 2, where I play against like other meta decks like Battle Betty, for example. I'm just going to go over the deck list real quick, and then we go into the games very quick as well, because there's going to be a lot of them, like going to be 4 of them against all the meta Luffy decks. If you just want to see the gameplay, you can just skip. I'll have like timestamps below the deck list. I mean, if you watch the deck profiles, you are familiar with it. Like I just changed like 1 card after the Amsterdam iteration of the deck, if you will. Just like 8 Searchers, double Monet. I'm on 3 Baccarat now, because I really feel like the games you lose are the ones where you don't draw enough counter, and this card kind of mitigates it. 4 Sanji in the form of Chopper. 2 X-Drake, searchable Navy 2K, 2 Dragon, amazing card against Blue Purple, 4 Rosinante, 4 Tashigi, 4 Smoker, 4 Hody. I love decks like this where you can just play like a bunch of 4-offs and call it a day. 3 Kit, I do think this card is phenomenal, but you don't really want to see multiples of it. But I wish I could play like 4 of it, but I don't really want to cut like any of the other non-counter cards, and I really feel like those are the only options you can cut if you want to be playing this. 2 of the Igloo event, absolutely amazing, and then 4 Morgan, also like format warping cards. That's the deck list. If you want to hear more about it, check out like the deck profiles posted earlier on the video, or on the channel I mean, or check out the guide below. Yeah, I don't really want to be wasting any more time talking over the deck list. Let's just check out the gameplay I have, because I do have like some pretty cool games in my opinion. Let's check it out. So we are going to be starting with the boogeyman of the format, which is Snake Man, even though I really think in the West it's not as bad as in the East. But yeah, this matchup is, I would say, generally favorable. However, my opponent here, like, he clearly has played this matchup before, because he does something that I think is pretty good. So we actually decide to mulligan the hand here, and we draw in to not the perfect hand, in my opinion, because we have this Virgo here, but then, which can hopefully pick up Smoker or Tashigi, and then hopefully we can draw like the other piece before we get to the 6th on turn. But the rest of our hand is not good. Like the Morgan is not a good card in this matchup, and neither is Kit. But we draw actually like some pretty good pieces here. The Virgo finds Sanji, which is like the 3rd best target between the cards I just mentioned, and now this Kujaku finds Tashigi, so we don't have the Smoker quite yet. So we are going to have to draw that from either live or as the top deck. But we do get to swing 6 on the 2nd turn, which is always nice. That's always what you want to be doing. And he opts to counter out here. He goes to 5 Dawn, swing 4, which we can't counter out, and then he just plays the Nami. So he doesn't have another Ramper. To be fair, we only would have gone like in trouble if he had 2 other Rampers, which he didn't. And then he actually, so we get lucky here, and we do pick up the Smoker, so we can do Smoker Tashigi here. But he actually decides to starve us here, which I do think is actually a pretty viable strategy when you're playing the Snake Man deck into Smoker. So here I'm considering playing the Morgan actually, instead of playing the Tashigi to out the Nami, but I really think that playing Tashigi here is probably more important than doing the Morgan, because again, if he just does like, what's it called, Gravity Blade here, then we kind of almost immediately lose, which It's not good. And I do play out the Tashigi here before attacking, which might seem a little bit weird, but I did sequence his turn a little bit wrong. I should have just attacked first and then just do Smoker into Tashigi. But I played the Tashigi here before the... before swinging into life with our leader, just in case we hit something like Gravity Blade from life. And here I do find Hody, which is pretty good because it's going to allow us to apply pressure. We find another Morgan, which that's not what we want to be seeing here. Flip the Dawn open, but the Morgan will allow us to reliably run over the Katakuri here, which I think is pretty good. If we decide to take that route, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing, but I think that's probably correct. So up to swing 7 into the leader here first, which he takes. Now I feel like I probably should do Morgan and then attack into the Katakuri with leader. Ooh, but I don't. Okay, yeah. I like it. And now the Katakuri is going to leave the field 100%. And now we also get to clear the Nami. So usually we really want to aggro here, but I do think getting rid of the blockers here kind of accomplishes the same thing as going for life. Because, you know, he could just use his blockers on the next turn when he wants to. So I kind of like take that agency away from him by outing the blockers. And I mean, obviously outing the Katakuri is just very, very strong. So he finds Red Rock here with the leader effect. And I kind of feel like if he plays the Red Rock here, that's good for us. Way better than him going like Sanjin to Big Bomb or something like that, because he won't establish any field. And then we have double... Honestly, like double Morgan is kind of okay. So he does have the Sanjin to Big Mom. And he actually targets a Smoker, so he's giving me the agency to use the Tashigi effect. And now I think I'm going to use the 2k to keep the Tashigi on field. And now I could go like either double Morgan to out his board. Or I can play the Kid and just swing a few times. Which I think is the route I'm going to take. And then hopefully protect the Kid from his swings. He hits the Bagawa there. Which he put on top, of course, with the Big Mom. And now I can probably go 9 on life. And then if he does... Yeah, this is annoying. Because now he's still going to be on 8 on. So he had like a pretty good sequence there of his leader effect being able to stack those cards. And I'll play out the Baccarat with Kid. And then hopefully I'm gonna be able to swing big at his life 4 times next turn. So he goes 10. And here I go, Baccarat. Pitch. Yeah, protect it. And then now if he does 9, I do have to block, and then hopefully just won't be swinging with the Luffy, but instead be... which is unlikely, to be honest. Like, I don't really feel like he's going to be playing a big body here. It's the opposite, go for Nami. But though I do kind of assume that he won't be swinging 9 here with the Luffy, because that means he won't be keeping any Dawn open, which is very risky. So I'm like, okay, it's time to just go aggro. Swing 8 at leader, uses the gear here too. Swing 8 with the Hody, because now I'm like in a really tough position, right? I kind of need to game him here. Swing 6. He has the 1k. Swing 9. Then maybe play the Baccarat. Maybe that's the line. Uses the Giant. So I definitely misplayed this turn. Wasn't really paying attention, because did you notice what did I do? I forgot to turn my Dawn back up, so I could have actually swung bigger here, which would have been pretty good. Like, that would mean I could have done like an 8 and a 10 swing, like 8 with Smoker and a 10 with Kid, which probably would have put him to 0 life. If not, at least would have eaten like more cards out of his hand. So that was like definitely a misplay. Very, very obvious misplay as well. Not sure why I did that. Just kind of forgot my leader effect, which is not strong. Now the opponent is thinking, and he's probably just gonna want to out my kid. So he's opts to go Usahachi, swing 10 into kid. I mean, I can't protect this, right, because I only have one card in hand. Then he goes 10 into the smoker, which again I can't protect. And now the question is what he's going to do. Is he going to swing 10 into the Hody as well? Honestly, might not be the worst play in the world. But then he kind of opens himself up to just get killed by my small bodies, but we'll see. He opts to just go Hody. I just go counter with the Monet or Baccarat effect for the Monet. It doesn't really matter. And now I'm like, okay, obviously if we drag out the game longer, I'm just going to be losing. So I go 8 with Hody. Then I go 7, 8, 8, I think. I go 7, which he has to counter out. So he didn't have a 2k in hand before the Giants. I go 8 here with the Tashigi. So very, very weird game, right? Here I'm thinking, like, nah, there is no way that I win the game. And then he actually can't counter out of this, and I win. I actually had exactly, like, if he had 1k counter more, I would have lost. So, yep, pretty lucky there. But this guy played very well into the smoke. But I think, like, we should have probably won, like, a little bit more convincingly if I did the leader effect, right? Yeah, unconventional game against UP, but still pretty interesting. Let's move on to the next one. So I guess we're just going to do it in order of popularity. So first Snake Man and then Green Purple. I think that seems fine. I do generally think this is probably the best Luffy matchup that Smoker has. And we do open like a pretty solid hand here. But it's weird because like you really like to see Morgan in this matchup, especially going second, which we don't have. But like the rest of our hand is pretty much perfect, right? We just need to like draw some non-engine after this. And we're in like a really good position. Find Baccarat there. So now we can just get to sculpt our hand. We do find the Sanji, which is very, very strong. Because that means we will have like a very good follow-up on next turn. Being able to aggro a little bit and play Sanji as well. Potentially alongside Rosinante. I pick up X-Drake here. I just think Tashiki's not really that relevant in this matchup. Except for if they play Radio Knife, but I opt to not really play around that, unless I know for sure they play / have it. And go swing 7, of course we take. We find another Sanji, and now we get to do like one of the most broken plays the deck has, which is play Sanji, boost to 7, put 2 down standing, and like play out another Sanji. Now we just have like an insane amount of pressure just on the third turn, which is kind of crazy, right? So I take this one, we find another Sanji. It's like a little bit of a shame that he has the Frankie here, because the Frankie is going to be able to trade with our Sanjis next turn, which we don't, like, that's not ideal. But we get to swing like a bunch of 6s now. Again, applying like a lot of pressure in the early game, almost like we're something like Zoro or Bello Betty. And then we play out the third Sanji. Like, we could have played out like Baccarat or Tashigi, but we do have like a lot of counter in hand anyway. And like this just applies so much pressure, right? Especially like a lot of the time GP has like a lot of cards in hand, but they do play a lot of bricks. So just being able to like continuously swing a bunch of 6s is very strong. And here I just kind of hope that he is going to try to go for game, since we do have a lot of counter, and that we can just kind of like cheese out the win next turn already. And with the Sanjis. Again, the Frankie being like a 4k to swing freely into our Sanji is like a little bit annoying. And now we can also play the Zoro if he wants. He swings 4. I decide to let it go. Now, probably regardless of what he's going to swing into. Like, if he swung into leader, I would have countered there, but he swings into the Sanji. And now we just, like, probably need to not die. Then we kind of sack him here by drawing the kid from the top, and if he does have the Gamma Knife, the kid with like a bazillion cards in hand is definitely going to probably seal the game here. So I swing into 5 into the Frankie here, just because I kind of want him to give up like a 2k to protect his Frankie. It's actually funny that he asks here if you ever like leave the Namis on field. I really feel like I'm going to answer the same. Probably if there's like only one Nami on the field, you can kind of leave it if you have like a lot of counter in hand anyway. But if there's like multiple on the field, you kind of do have to out them, right? Because they're just going to apply so much pressure on the next turn. Which I say here as well. And now I'm just going to pressure him as well. It's like, yeah, Hody with 3 Sanji kills me as well, obviously. So here I do not forget the leader effects. I actually get to play a double blocker alongside the kid as well if I just don't use any Dawn investment when on the swings here, which I think is perfectly fine to not do. I guess we can kind of just chill at this moment. He does have another 2k sadly. Play out the Baccarat, play out this, yep. The Baccarat with kid effect, of course. And now he's just going to play like a bunch of Going Merrys, I think, to hopefully draw into the Gamma Knife, I would assume. Just Sanji Pudding. He actually does have like 10 Don, so he doesn't even get to draw if I'm correct. Now he's just going to try to beat over my kid. And honestly, my win condition is just keeping the kid on the field and then try to game him next turn, right? And if I don't succeed in gaming him next turn, keep the kid on the field and try to game him turn after. But again, I do have like a lot of cards in hand. Counter 1k, he's just going to swing like 8 a bunch of times. Counter 1k, then he opts to leave the Dawn open to not lose out to a Hody Jones here. Which I think is definitely fair. But I'm just going to like chip away at his hand now. And then play out another blocker, and then like if he doesn't find Gamma Knife, maybe like the Dawn spread here is like a little bit weird, but I really wanted him to take this swing to like let the banish go through. But maybe it would have been better to just like swing a little bit like 10, 10, 8, 8, 10, 10 or something like that. So he actually decides to take it as a Gum Gum Giant. I play out Virgo here because I'm going to be able to restand the Dawn anyway. And I was kind of looking for the event as well, because I was like, okay, if I find the event, then I'm surely going to be able to protect the kid on the next turn. I swing 6 into the leader. He 1k counters, 7 into the leader. He 2k counters, then 9, and then I leave the 2 Dawn up. I'm like, I can probably just chill. Like, probably even if he finds Gamma Knife. Actually, maybe if he finds Gamma Knife here, then I would lose the game, to be honest. So maybe I should have played it like out a little bit differently. Maybe I should have just tried to out aggro him anyway. So I'll use the event here. But like he has no Gamma Knife, right? So, and without Gamma Knife, there's just no way he's going to be able to beat through double blocker and quadruple 2k. Like 3 actual 2ks, and then Baccarat is also like a 2k in a way, right? I mean, yeah, what you gonna do? No Gamma Knife, no party. And now he has 2 more swings against 2 blockers. And even if he has like 3 Gum Gum Giant, which like is not possible, then he can't win. Just plays Usohachi here. Goes leader effect. He can't even swing twice, so I don't know. But I mean, it's not his fault, right? Like he had a strong board, but not GP just really struggles dealing with a kid if they don't have the Gamma Knife, and now it's just gonna be guaranteed game, right? Because it can just go like 666 and then attack with whatever. And then, yeah, he admits defeat, of course. So, yeah, pretty standard game, I would say, if you see the kid with this deck. Like, almost perfect hand, like, really perfect would have been if I saw Morgan as well in the early game, but, I mean, definitely not going to complain. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, then going into the next Luffy, which is going to be a purple-black. This is going to be like a little bit of a rough one. As you'll see, I decided to mulligan because my hand is not really playable. I lost the Dairo as well, so going second, which is like a pretty significant setback, I think, when you're playing against this Luffy. And he also finds the Zoro Ramper on his next turn. And here I go Virgo, and as you can see, I pick up nothing. And then I play Virgo, and I actually get to pick up nothing again, which is... I'm playing like 18 targets, I think, for Virgo in my list, so... And there's only 2 in my hand, so whiffing, like on 10 cards is kind of rough. Giant setback. He plays the Zoro Ramper here. And another searcher to really scope his hands, and he finds the Beer Luffy. And then he has like another Law. Which finds a 2k, so pretty strong start. I take the swing here. It's honestly, my hand's looking kind of good, right? But just imagine how this hand would have looked if I had like 2 more cards. Would have been pretty nice. Play the Sanji, Leader Effect, Kujaku, and I pick up Tashigi. At least next year we can probably contest with the Zoro. Like, our hand is not even looking bad, right? I decide to counter this one out because I think he's going to be able to swing bigger with his leader after this, potentially. And I'm going to take this swing. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't really have made a difference. And I do find Morgan here, so actually, suddenly we're kind of in a good spot, because now with the Morgan we can actually out the Beer Luffy. But again, imagine if our hand was just like this, but we had 2 more cards. Well, it's super solid. I opt to go 7 into the Zoro here, because I really want to get it off the field. And I don't think it's likely that he's going to use like 2k, 1k to protect it. So I play out the Smoker, set on Omadon active, pop the Party Luffy, and suddenly it's like, we're not like in that bad of a position. But again, 2 more cards would have been nice. But we're definitely like, we're in this game, right? Even if our opponent has like a perfect start. So he plays out another Zoro, ramps some more cards. Which is good for us, because that means that he's not going to be able to establish like another Party Luffy. But now he actually does something that's almost as annoying, which is just going to swing like multiple times with the laws. Well, sorry. My voice is still like a little bit messed up, because I had the cold. And now we're just like in a weird game state. Like, the Virgos can run over the laws, and I feel like, okay, I probably just have to pressure the opponent. Like, you could even argue that maybe I should just try to go for game here, but we know he has a 2k in hand, so that's gonna be... It's gonna be pretty awkward. I could go 9-9, I suppose, to try to win the game. Well, I do have like double 2k in hand. It's hard. Like, honestly, maybe 9-9 or like 10-8 wouldn't have been that bad. But he has like double 2k anyway, so I just keep the 2 Don open as like a bluff that I might have the Igloo event. But of course, you and I, we both know I do not. But I can always pick it up from life, right? But potentially. And if I do, then maybe we're not like in the worst of positions. He goes 5. I feel like I kind of have to counter this, because if I don't, he can just go 15 and then I just die. But he has the secret Luffy, so... Now if I do pick up the Igloo, do I live? I think so, actually. But I don't. Like, if I picked up Igloo here, he would think 7. I could go... Give -2 to the Luffy, then he puts 3 under it, swings 6, and I can counter with the 2k, and then we win the game. But I mean, Kid has no counter, right? So here I just lose the game. I really feel like if the Virgos hit, then I probably would have won this game. Or maybe, it's hard to say, right? And it just goes 10, and then yeah, that's just guaranteed game, right? And then it's also like, even if I went like 9-9, I would have lost as well. So I don't know, just really unlucky missing the double Virgos. But yeah, one more Luffy to go. Alright, like I said, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be against Pluffy, which I do consider to be the hardest matchup out of all the Luffy leaders. I do win the die roll though, so I do get to go first, which is like pretty big. And I do find double Searcher, so I'm probably going to be able to drop Smoke on curve as well, which is nice. Sadly, we don't have the Sanji, but you know, can't always have perfect curve. Now I have to pick up the event here with the smoker, but honestly, just hitting like 7 onto Pluffy is pretty good, I think, on the second turn, because they are going to want to counter out most likely out of all your swings, so they can use their leader ability, and now this makes it like a little bit more awkward. He does leader effect. Alright, so I counter this one out, so that I can like more freely use the Hodies on the next turns. And here I do pick up Sanji, which is pretty nice, because that means I actually have to play out something next to the smoker. If not, I probably would have just gone 5-5 with leader and Virgo. But this is better, right? Now you can potentially do like 2 big swings, but then on my next turn I can go like drop Hodie, leave 2 Dawn open for the event, and possibly even just game him next turn. And I think we counter out of this, because now you can go 7 or 8, in fact, even with the Bankley, which of course we can't counter. So, and then he actually plays like this, like Bankley into Ragnarok, which is annoying, but we can actually now deal with both the Bankleys. Let's go 5. Put 2 Dawn open. And then go 7. Yeah, I think this is like a pretty solid play, to be honest. Counters out of this. Like, this game is like so weird, but I really feel like you don't really want to get into the long game with Pluffy. A little bit like UP, right? Now he does actually get to run over my Hodie, which is a shame. And then we can't counter the Sanji out either, but it's like we just have to kill him. Like most likely most Pluffy lists, they don't play Big Mom anymore. Or Lin, the 9 cost. So we could just try to put him to 0 this turn. We actually play out X-Drake here. That's funny. We just play X-Drake swing 10. Okay. Okay, spicy. Spicy line for sure. He goes 5. I think I will counter out of this. Yeah, counter out of Baccarat. Because we have to take the 9, right? And now imagine if he does play the Big Mom, that we get like mega punished. This is actually kind of annoying as well, because we can't protect this X-Drake. Play out Virgo, pick up another 2k. I probably want to establish just another smoker or Sanji here. We just pick up smoker, swing big. He goes event plus 2k. And now we're kind of just set up to game him next turn, essentially. With Hodie, hopefully. He swings 5. Obviously, I'm going to counter this just so I don't die. Swing 7, I take it. Plays out another Sanji. Hits into the Sanji, okay. I draw Kids, which potentially could be interesting, but we're not like, we don't have enough counter in hand here to protect the Kid, so we do kind of just have to go Hodie against his 2 Don here and hope it gets us there. Finds another Kid, so yeah. I mean, this is just the only line there is, right? And just go 9-10. He takes the 9, and then we go 9 with the smoker, and yep, that's going to be the game. And I really feel like very often against Pluffy it kind of comes down to this, where you just kind of have to swing and hope they don't have it. And here we got lucky, but you will find yourself get lucky like pretty often against Pluffy and Snake Man as well. But yeah, that was the video. If you're like more interested in this deck, be sure to check out the guide that I will post in the description. Leave a like, of course. Let me know like what other decks you would like to see me play in this format. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you do, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.